everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Jenny. I'm here today to share with you my final Summer of Joy TBR, my August TBR for 2023. Reading has been going pretty well, I would say, for this adventure this summer. And I decided for this last iteration of the Summer of Joy TBR that I would go a little bit wilder, maybe is the right word, I'm not sure. And so what I've ended up picking are not that many books because you will see why very shortly. So I wanted to just say that I'm carrying over Adrienne Rich's poetry, selected and edited by Barbara Charlesworth Gelpi and Albert Gelpi. This was one that I was reading in July, and I'm just going to be wrapping it up. I'm really close to the end in August. Now, I created a big book TBR for 2023, and this is actually my 5-star predictions for 2023. And onto that, I put the Fionavar Tapestry by Gavriel. As you can see, it's humongous. It's actually 3 books, so a trilogy all in one bind up. So I'm counting it as one big book, even though technically it's 3 books in one. So I decided that a joyous summer would have to include some fantasy for me. I don't read a lot of fantasy, but I do enjoy the genre when I delve into it. And so this book has also been on my TBR for a very, very long time, my personal shelf for a very, very long time. And I thought, I need to read this, and if I don't like it, I will DNF it and get it off of my shelves. And so this is a really fun mixture of our world with a fantasy world. So the beginning of the book sees 5 students, older students, I would say, graduate student age, at a lecture at a university in Toronto, where they end up meeting the lecturer. And you know almost right from the beginning that the lecturer is searching out people to bring somewhere, and you find out that he wants to bring these people to his world, and he explains this premise that there's all these worlds that exist simultaneously, but they don't usually cross over, and so these 5 people from our world in the mid 1990s, I would say, are going to cross over into this mystical world of I think the world is called Fionavar. So I'm very excited to tackle this monster, but I mean, really, this is a really, really long book. 744 pages with very small font. Let's look at the font. So this is going to take a while, and so there aren't a ton of books on my TBR this month because of that, because of this. But very excited to delve into this one. I ended up adding a kind of last minute addition to my TBR, Rememberings by Sinead O'Connor. Finding out about Sinead's death was quite shocking to me, and I'm a huge fan of her music and have been for many, many, many years. And so I had this on my TBR, and I thought you should just get it now while it's available at the library and read it. It's actually a pretty quick memoir. It's kind of told in a vignette style. It's a little bit, the chapters are a little bit longer than vignettes, but they have that feel to them. And so I find with a memoir like that, you know, you can usually get through it fairly quickly. And so I decided to read this one. My audiobook for August is a kind of thriller murder mystery, which I know is not typical for me, but it's called Still Lives by Maria Hummel. And this is an art themed murder mystery where this very famous artist is about to reveal this amazing show that she's put together of these paintings of famous women who were murdered, and she doesn't show up at her art opening, and the plot ensues from there. All of the people who work at the museum / gallery where this show was going to be put on are, wondering where she is, trying to understand the mystery, and also trying to make sure that their museum gallery can continue and can live on financially. And we follow Maggie. Maggie Richter, I think is her name. And she's actually originally a journalist, but she became a copy editor at the gallery, and she was actually entangled a little bit with the artist in a personal matter. So all of those things are kind of blending together to come together to reveal the mystery. So I'm very intrigued so far and looking forward to seeing where that story leads. I'm also going to be reading the next book on my Reading Across Canada TBR, and that is The Break by Katherena Vermette for Manitoba, the province of Manitoba. Now, this is a book that has been on my TBR again for a very long time. Katherena Vermette is a Métis author based out of Manitoba, and I read her poetry collection River Woman last year, which I really loved. And this is her, I believe it's her first novel, and it is, very much lauded, was part of Canada Reads, and it's heavy hitting, but it's, a story about the women of a certain part of Winnipeg, also of Métis ancestry, I believe, and the things that they go through in their day-to-day lives. So I'm very, very excited to finally read this book. And I assume that I will be getting to this one near the end of the month of August, because I am delving into the big fantasy book for the beginning. And then my final book on my TBR is one of the Booktube Prize finalists. So I am reading in the nonfiction category for Booktube Prize, and I only have 3 books that I need to read for that. And so I've chosen The Escape Artist by Jonathon, Freedland, The Man Who Broke Out of Auschwitz to Warn the World, as the first book of those that I read. I'll read this one in August, and I'll read the other 2 in September. And so this, I think the subtitle kind of explains it all. Rudolf Verbrugge became the first Jew ever known to break out of Auschwitz and make his way to freedom, one of only 4 who pulled off the near impossible feat. So this is his story. Very excited to, obviously this is going to be a heavy topic. Auschwitz is a very heavy topic, but World War II is a fascinating time, and I look forward to reading this book and seeing what this story is all about. So that is going to be my last set of books for my Summer of Joy TBRs. If for some reason, some miracle, I get through that big book and all these books and need more, I will let you know which books I add to the TBR in a future video. And I hope you have a great reading month in August, and I will be back again soon with another video. Thank you so much for watching.